Hey, welcome to Sunny and Ratchet, your go-to spot for real talk and real laughs with your two favorite hosts who are spilling the tea, but not the wine.
Skies might be big, but the opinions are bigger. This is where you'll find your weekly dose of drama and magic, always served hot and slightly chaotic. I'm the one that likes to tell it like I see it.
And I'm the one who finds the silver lining, even if it's duct taped on.
We're just two women from the Midwest, one the ever optimist, and the other a realist, just trying to keep the train on the tracks.
So if you like gossip, world news, unsolicited advice, and good old-fashioned sarcasm, you're in the right spot.
Is this Sunny and Ratchet? Pull up a chair and let's get into it.
Hey, it's Sunny and Ratchet here, coming at you with episode 4, No Hood Like Motherhood.
Can't believe it's already episode 4.
I can't either. But
happy late Mother's Day, all the moms.
Happy belated Mother's Day. And yeah, we're going to be talking about being a mom and being mother, and that's the same thing. Gonna take that out for sure. So we're going to talk about all the things, all the special things,
the pros and cons, good and bad, even the ugly. It can get ugly.
Yeah, but that's the fun part. The things you laugh about later.
That is true. 100%.
Shoot. My story of motherhood. I became a mother at 28.
Oh,
yeah. I started a little later than, it felt like a little later than a lot of people I was around. The trend is to have babies later now, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends currently are going through the whole baby phase.
Yeah. I actually read a study that I think in 2023 they did a survey, and they've been looking at it since then. More people are having babies when they're 40 or later than people that are having teenage pregnancies, like under 18.
That is awesome. Like, I was trying to come up with a better adjective, but my brain isn't working for me today. But that is so much better than awesome.
Yeah. No, it is really great. And I think it's just like, not judgment on people that are having kids as their teenagers, because life is life. But like, good Lord, when I was a teenager, like, I can't imagine having a baby when I was younger, just because I don't feel like I was grown up enough or ready. I would have been a baby raising a baby, and that would have been hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now I am married and I'm in a blended family, and I want to be better. So, like, a goal of mine as a mother is not to be like your kids, my kids, because they are our kids.
They are.
Mm-hmm. But so now my life looks like I have an 8-year-old son who is my stepson, and so we're going to call Tough Guy. I have an 11-year-old stepdaughter, call her Sweet Pea. You guys have already met Sweet Pea. And then currently have my goddaughter staying with us, Queen Bee. It's a really good fitting word for her. And then we have my son is the oldest, and he's Speed Racer, our son. So, yeah. So it's been an adventure. And honestly, like, when you and I were talking about doing a podcast and we were talking about locations, pretty sure the biggest reason we decided to have it here is because I have a full house, and I'm like, we cannot keep this place clean,
and I'm an empty nester.
Yeah. To save our lives, we cannot, so yeah, it's big and loud and messy. I wouldn't trade it. I will say, when I got married to Mr. Sunny, I was going from being a single mom with my son Speed Racer And, we're definitely not perfect. We've had our struggles. But Speed Racer and I tend to be quiet, and not having another adult and having one kid, it was easier to keep after him and be like, this is dirty, this is gross. Let's keep things clean. Let's keep them put away. Now there's 6 of us and 2 dogs in a big house. And it's not that easy.
No, I've heard your frustrations in the years.
Yeah. Like, it's been an adjustment.
Warranted, and then, there's really changes. But
Right. If you can imagine, my youngest is, first of all, he's got 8-year-old boy energy.
And then times 2.
Yeah, times 2, because you add like ADHD onto that. And it's, he's all over the place. And like, I love him. I love his heart. He's such a great kid.
Really does.
Yes. And also, he's the total opposite of our oldest Speed Racer. Yes, who is autistic and really does have OCD, so he's very particular about things being clean, and he's come a long way, but it's a clashing combo. I think that's probably been the most difficult adjustment, and also just because Sweet Pea loves everybody and gets along with everybody.
Because she's just such a good heart.
She is. She's got such a great heart. So she's definitely the most legit. Like, if any of them are ever going to call one of the others for a dead body, they're going to have to call Sweet Pea. The others will just tell on each other. And she's like, I will go down with this ship because I am loyal.
Yeah, see that in her.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, tea break. So I was thinking about different stories that, have happened recently that might illustrate a day in the life. And I feel like maybe the April Fool's story is the best representation of my life right now. So it's April Fool's. And do you like pranks?
I like performing pranks.
You don't like
I feel like I had to answer that appropriately.
I feel like, there's some pranks that's not funny. I don't like it, but I do enjoy the back and forth. My sister and I, we would prank each other as kids. But so Tough Guy, he's definitely a prankster as well.
I do not know this.
Yeah. But Sweet Pea is not.
Okay.
But like, they're like born together for life, siblings, they're not, so they kind of go back and forth more than the others. Well, I was talking to Tough Guy, and I was going to do some schoolwork with him. And he was like, just a second. He walks up and whispers, he's like, I've got to go prank Sweet Pea. I was like, oh, okay. So he goes, does this thing, comes back down. We're like working on stuff. Then I hear Sweet Pea scream.
Oh no.
And as she comes down, she's about in tears. And so I was like, what did you do? So he had propped like a water cup above her door, and it came down on her, and it got all wet. And I think the thing that she hated the most was it got her socks wet, because it's like, oh my God. Some people are really like, wet socks is a thing. And she's one of them. And she was just beside herself. And so I'm trying to work this out between the two, because I was like, oh.
How did you not laugh in this situation?
Oh.
Because I laughed. I don't know if I could have kept a straight face in this situation.
Yeah, which, was hurtful. I tried to tell Sweet Pea, oh gosh, I am so sorry. But so I was trying to work it out with the two of them. I told Tough Guy, I was like, okay, you did your prank. Now you need to make sure she's okay, and you need to be the one to clean it up and stuff. But then Sweet Pea's like, but why the ice. And what? He put ice. It wasn't just a cup of water, it was a cup of ice water. And what was his reasoning for the ice? Like, that's just I was like, that is next level tough guy, okay? So we go up there and, I'm helping him with the whole cleaning it up. And we go to throw things into the bathroom trash upstairs, which it's like the kids' world upstairs. I don't go up there unless I have to. It's just Lord of the Flies, whatever. But we go, I'm helping him. He goes to throw stuff in the trash can. It's just like overflowing. I'm like, why has no one, all 4 of you kids use this bathroom? Why has nobody taken out? But I'm like, you know what, tough guy? You and I were cleaning out this mess. We're going to do it. So I have recently had surgery, so I can't like lift things. So I'm having to like basically tell tough guy how to do all of it. And it's like, it's a trash can and it's got an insert and you've got to pull it out and then pull the trash bag out. And you've got to get it out and it sticks on things. So it's like a ridiculous ordeal getting it out. But we finally get it out. And then we're going downstairs. Well, downstairs, Speed Racer has one of his friends over and they're looking at a computer and stuff like that. And like, this is not one of his friends he knows like real well. If it had been one of his besties, it'd have been like, oh well. But Speed Racer and I were trying to take the trash out and then go to get the kitchen trash. And what I wanted was to dump not dump actually, just put the bathroom trash into the kitchen trash and take it all out. But so we're over there and tough guy takes and he just tries to empty the bathroom trash into the kitchen trash, and all the bathroom trash spills out and it's stinky and gross. And I'm like, no, trying to like tell tough guy who acts faster than he thinks, and he doesn't wait, he just does stuff and it's messy. And so, and then even Sweet Pea's like, what are you guys doing? And the Speed Racer's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, friend. This doesn't normally happen. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, yeah, right, it doesn't normally happen. This is my life, But I'm like, so I'm like, no, pick it up and put it in here. I'm trying to hold it in. It was a whole ordeal. It stank so badly. And then I had Sweet Pea and Tough Guy, I was gonna have them take it out, and it was all messy. Finally, Speed Racer's like, hey, please let him get this whole situation out of the kitchen. And he gets it, and he takes it out. And I'm just like apologizing to his friend. I was like, I'm so sorry. It's not normally like this. It's totally normally like that. But he's
Look at this chaos.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it was a whole thing. It's like when you watch a movie and it's like all this ridiculous stuff happens in like one of those family shows. And you're like, oh my gosh, that like, you think it's just like for the show. It's just a wild situation. It's crazy.
That's crazy. That prank went all the way.
It did. I was all the way. But I couldn't be mad at him because I was totally like thinking, yeah, right, this will be fun, But like for me, like my prank when it was just me and Speed Racer one year is like I printed off a bunch of Nicolas Cage faces and just everywhere around the house, like, putting in places he would find it, like toilet seat lifted up. It was a big old printout of a Kim Jong-il Nicolas Cage mashup, like it was everywhere, anywhere he might see it. He kept running into, Nicolas Cage pictures. It's funny.
That is funny. That's
yeah.
Can I tell you one of my kids' pranks on him?
Yes, please do.
It was Gamma Boy, and my oldest, who I haven't come up with a nickname for yet, but my oldest. So my youngest, Gamma Boy, called me because I was out with some friends and we were just at Target somewhere. And he's like, Mom, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, okay. It's my oldest. And I was like, okay. And he was like, she didn't want to tell you herself, but she's pregnant. And she was scared to tell you. What? I literally, like, I'm in the middle of the parking lot going back to my car with my girlfriend. And I just dropped my bag. I'm like, I dropped to the floor. And I'm like, what? She's pregnant? So I'm like, I hang up on him and I call her right up. And she's laughing so hard, she sounds like she's crying. So I think, oh my gosh, it's true. She is. And I was like, oh, because at this point, she's still in high school. So I'm like, oh no.
Wait, hold on. So how old was Ganger Boy?
Oh gosh, he was like 10. Yeah. Like he did these a couple times. He was really good at animals. But that was one that will, like, it's seared in my mind. Because and then I call her and she's laughing so hard that she sounds like she's crying. I think that it's legit, and that she is. And I'm like thinking of all these situations, like, did you not learn from me? But in the end, she was like, we were just playing April Fools, April Fools. And I was just like, okay, that was good. Now don't talk to me for the rest of the day.
Now leave me alone. I'm scared for that.
So yes.
Well, tell us your motherhood journey.
Okay. I'm like you. You were 28. I was 16 when I had my first, and 24 when I had my last. And I'm the proverbial, high school dropout teen mom storyline here. So it was hard. Like, I stayed at home with the kids for the first 7 years. And then I got a divorce, so I had to go back to work, or go to work, because again, I was 16. I had like 2 jobs before that. And then so yeah, we got divorced. I got my GED. I got my first job working at 7-Eleven, a night clerk, all the joys there.
So, question. When you found out you were pregnant at 16, did you stay living with parents? Did you get married and move in with your...
Yeah, we got married. I got married at 16 and moved out. And it was funny because they put me in a school for pregnant girls. Because I was 11th grade that year. And I was on a short bus going home. Locked up, and they dropped me off at the house. So I'd take the short bus back to my parents' house, and then my husband at the time would pick me up after work. And I was so weird. So, but yeah, the next year, my senior year, I went through half of the year, but I was also working full time, and being a teen mom is just hard. So, but yeah.
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
Did you ever have thoughts about not keeping a baby?
I did. My first, I actually did want to give her up for adoption. And I had found this family that we were friends with that were looking to adopt a child. But her father refused. And so we went ahead and became not single, but, teen parents, got married. He was working at Coca-Cola at the time, and I went to school. I was working for my counselor. Actually gave me a job taking care of her elderly mother.
Okay.
So during the day, I would go, after I had her, I would go to her house and watch her. And then that night, I would go to night school to try to finish my degree, which obviously failed because I dropped out.
You know what, though? Like, what a challenge, though.
It was that, I am so chaotic. I apologize for this in advance. This whole storyline was to just state that it was hard. It's so hard being a teen mom. I don't care how mature you are. I don't care how much help you have. You're a child. You don't understand the things that are going on in your life right now. And if I could go back, I would slap myself silly for some of the things I did that at the time I didn't know was wrong or not appropriate. Like, I'm going to tell myself, but when she would wake up in the morning, I would give her a bottle and put her in a playpen while I went back to bed. She's like 6 months old. And then I would wake up like an hour or two later, and of course she has made a big mess. And I'm always mad at myself for doing it, but yet I did it every day.
Mm-hmm.
It was so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So financially, it was difficult. And then because daycare is, excuse my language, a bitch, and we didn't know anything about welfare or like we hadn't applied for anything like that, so we weren't getting assistance. So we would literally like scrape through the couch cushions to look for 99 cents or $1.07 so we can go to Burger King, get a Whopper.
That sounds really tough.
It was. But I mean, on a positive note about all this, I'm not even 45. And my kids are grown and I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah. All right. Look, what if I get to, kind of draw on your wisdom and take advantage of your quiet house? I come over here to work with you on the podcast, and I'm just like, so quiet. Except I found out today that your cat hates me. So
one of my cats hates you. Like, what the heck was that? I've got 2 cats. Our oldest one, Thor, absolutely loves her. Like, they're cool. But today she went to go pet our second cat, Nyx, and this bitch hissed at her.
I even pet her again to see if that was like somehow a mistake. Like, it's okay. She's like, I was like, all right.
So she got kicked out. I mean, of the studio. She got kicked out of the studio.
Yeah, I would never ask you to kick your cats out of your house.
So we do have a few stories, because we did ask for some input. And let's pull back up. I had one friend write in, and she said, I had one and my only at 40, almost 41. It was not the plan, but it's how it worked out. Having a child later in life let me be financially stable, cherish motherhood, and be able to have a nanny take care of my son while I work from home, instead of having to send him to daycare. She said that she was also able to take her son on vacations that would never have happened if she had had him younger. So there are pros and cons to both. All I can say is that me and my kids, we survived, lived, and they did not make the same mistake, which was a very big goal of mine. They had children after high school.
That's great. Oh, great. I just, that does sound really great. I am so tired. I'm 44 and so tired. I wonder if I would be just overly exhausted because I feel like I don't have the same energy. But those points of, just being more financially ready, I think that really is.
And that's a huge. And especially in this day and age of how things are going, in economics. I don't blame people for waiting.
Yeah, especially if we can hire a nanny, like, kudos to her. That's amazing.
So I also looked up some stuff. Pros of being a young mother: more energy, faster physical recovery. I guess that's leading after childbirth. It's easier on younger bodies to recover. That's what it's stating. Stronger connections, having a closer, more bonded relationship with your children as they grow up, because you kind of grow up together. At least me and my oldest. I think we're tight because of, she saw me grow up too.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And then more time for self. And I don't know if I agree with this one, but it's stating that some young mothers find it that having time for personal pursuits or career development is still okay. So like they're still able to do that. I did not. I remember craving just to have a conversation with an adult so bad on a daily basis.
Yes.
So those are the pros of being a young mom that I found. And some of the cons: increased stress and pressure, mostly from balancing work, childcare, personal life. And then financial strain, which we've talked about. Social isolation and judgment, which was me.
Oh,
Well, no, because, I'm a single mom. My kids my age, they were getting ready to figure out what to do with their lives, not, changing diapers.
yeah, yeah.
So, and then the lack of support. And unfortunately, that was the case. Like, my husband at the time was very, I don't know how to say other than women's roles and men's roles, and women's roles were childcare.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there was that. And then I have some pros and cons of being an older mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Financial stability, emotional maturity. That was my big thing. Not being emotionally mature enough. Established relationships, like you have your whole tribe together. Like you have people, friends, family. Longevity. It says some studies suggest that having children later in life may be linked to increased longevity in women and more experience. Older parents have more life experience and wisdom, which is going to be helpful in the long run. Some of the cons is saying decreased fertility, and this is for women, obviously. Increased pregnancy risk. Did you know that at 35 you're considered a geriatric mother?
I've heard that, which is wild, especially given the statistic that there's more women over 40 having babies, pregnancies than teenagers. Kind of seems like we should rethink the.
Because at 35, I feel like you're still young enough. Like your body is like still in its prime.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't, I don't know. But again, I'm not a doctor. I don't make these rules.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into higher risk of geriatric disorders and issues like older parents and potentially leading to certain health problems in the child. So I'm assuming, I think that I have heard somewhere along the line, I don't know where, a long time ago, but that men at a certain age are more likely to produce children with disabilities on their sperm. So having kids later in life could be an issue like that. But of course, it's neither here nor there because you have women having kids, in their 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, kids having kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all still standing.
Yeah.
Maybe you have some psychological issues, but we're still standing.
It's hard no matter what. It's like the greatest challenge you'll ever love. But things like postpartum depression and all of that kind of stuff, like
the age for that.
Yeah, like it's real because it is really hard. Like you talking about just kind of craving. I mean, adult conversation. I've been there too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I had a child at an older age, because when you have young children and when you are always looking out for them because they always need you, and you're in that role of staying home with the child or being that primary person, yeah, like you don't get much adult interaction. So I just went back to work this week after 6 weeks off, recovering from surgery. And even though I went to a school where I was surrounded by kids, I was also surrounded by a lot of adults. Like, I really think I spent the first day just running around talking to everybody and being like, I'm sorry. It's been so long since I've been around people like this. Like, hey, what's up? I love you. Hey. So, it was great to see everybody and be around that again. And so, I had been around my kids a lot. I'd seen my husband a lot in the evenings. I did have get-togethers here and there, but it can be very isolating. My son was 13 months old when his father and I split up. And I was also in the process of getting a teaching certificate, and I hadn't been working because my son had several issues. He had lactose intolerance, which is not like a huge thing. It's just,
You were wild with the baby, yeah.
Yeah. So he needed soy formula, and it took forever to figure out why he had so much gas and was crying all the time. He also had pretty severe acid reflux. And so it took a long time to get all of that kind of situated and under control. And, I had this fear that he would be given regular milk products, just, which would cause more gas and make him bloaty, or would have an episode of reflux and start choking on it. And I just had this fear that, being in a room full of children, what if that wasn't caught? What if something happened to him? And so I already wasn't working because I'd had very difficult pregnancy. I was on bed rest for most of it. And then he had all these issues that we were trying to, kind of sort out. So 13 months old. And so to kind of make things work, getting a divorce, getting my teaching certification, caring for my child that needed extra attention. I worked at a daycare and a Mother's Day out for a while. And, it was good, but it was also just being with my child all the time and being with small children all the time, and it's like you lose yourself in that.
Yes. I think that is one problem. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, yeah.
But yeah, that is one problem I think that mothers across the board have, is that we lose our identity. Like, we are a mom, and then we just stop knowing who we are as individuals. Like, we're a mom, we're a wife, we're a mom and a teacher. You're a mom and a nurse, you're a mom and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody, children, partners, everybody would be definitely happier if we as mothers would remember that we're still individuals. We still have our own needs, our own wants, our own desires. And our life doesn't stop now because we're a mom.
Yeah. And I feel like I fell into that. The word I'm thinking of is trap, but I don't want to put such a negative connotation on it. But especially when I was younger, I would say I definitely leaned more conservative minded in that I wanted that traditional mom role. I did want that traditional wife role, even though it didn't work out. So like that hurt me really deeply. And a lot of my identity was caught up in just, really being the best mom to my son, to the point that I wasn't taking care of myself. I lost myself in all of that. And it was definitely something that I really had to, over years, kind of work on, because it does take a toll on your mental health when you don't, feed your needs as well and take care of yourself as well, and keep your own identity.
Yeah, you can't heal when your cup is empty.
Yeah.
So I think that's just an all-around problem for mothers that I mean, it can go either way. I mean, either like you, who are just over-concerned, and so you just lose yourself completely. And then, of course, there are those egg donors, I guess you could call them, that are just like, I have a kid. What to do? Let's have another one. So I don't know. I think being a mom, I mean, obviously we weren't the first to have babies, and we won't be the last. Yeah, it's going to continue, throughout time. But I don't know what we can do other than just try our best to make our kids' life better than ours, and then not lose ourselves, and just remember who you are. That's my advice. Is that you're a mom. You're still you.
Yeah. And just, gosh, reaching out and building that village.
Build the village.
Yeah.
It definitely takes a village, if nothing else, for your sanity.
Yeah. Nobody should do it alone, for sure. I had my people that helped me and were in my corner. And if I was saying that I did all this by myself, it'd be a lie. So, honestly, even when I was single momming it, for sure, you need a lot of help. I was fortunate that I was working for a church. And, oh, sorry, I almost fell out of it. I was very fortunate that I was working for a church. So I had my parents helping and supporting me. At the church, I kind of was rebuilding myself and rebuilding my life. And the pastor there was amazing. And the people that I worked with in the Mother's Day Out program were amazing. I remember it was hard for me to ask for help. And one year, the year when I was working at the church at the Mother's Day Out, the pastor called me and she said that when they did their food drive donations and stuff. Yeah. So she called me to let me know that when they had put aside bags of food for needy families, they had set aside a bag for me. And she's like, so go to the church kitchen, your bag is there, get in the freezer, get your ham. Because she knew that I was working for the Mother's Day Out. It was hourly pay. I was about to go on Christmas break and not have income for a couple of weeks. And it really humbled me. It humbled me that they were that kind. It humbled me that even though, I was in need, I was too proud to ask. I was ashamed that I needed to ask because I'd been working since I was 13 years old, and always saving money and everything. And I found myself in a place I never thought I'd be. So, yeah.
Yeah. Motherhood is hard. Having to juggle life as a mother is hard. So give yourself props, and grace. That job that I told you about, remember the interview about my first job or the weird job?
Yes.
It was literally 3 weeks after having a baby that I got that job.
Oh, I'm gotta do what you gotta do. Wow.
That was fun though. I mean, it wasn't fun. It was actually really nervous. I used to be such an introvert. I hated socializing because I was just so afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks.
I know. I love it. So I was looking at my notes and I thought of another story to share about being a mom at my house. So I'd like you to know that I have a grown man, Mr. Sonny, who lives at my house. I have a teenage son, 17-year-old. Got people in my house. But apparently, I'm also the bug catcher in my house. So I'm going to look for these text messages from my son because one night I was woken up. Well, not woken up, no. One night I got a text from my son and he was really stressed out. It says, Mom, a bunch of letters. There's a bug in the shower. Is terrifying. And so I text back, just wash it down. I'm kind of busy at the moment. He was like, no, it's giant. Or no, he said, no, it's like a giant. And I said, send me a picture. I'm too scared to go back upstairs. This is literally the most horrible creature on earth. So then I'm like, what is it? 3 question marks. Because I'm like, what is in there, It'd been raining a lot, and I thought, well, there's some cockroaches that like they don't necessarily go for the kitchen, but when there's a lot of rain, they come up the drain.
The water bugs or the earwig thingies.
Well, it's not the earwigs, but there is like I learned that there's different kind of cockroaches because when I lived out in the country, I had that problem with some that would come up in the drain. They weren't going to the kitchen, but they'd come, yeah. So, but whatever. I've learned to deal with them. And also, fun fact, I don't kill bugs. I rescue them and put them back in the house.
Yes.
But anyway, so I'm like, what is it? He's like, I don't know. Like a beetle from hell. And I love it because he spelled it Beatle. Like, I'm like, does it play rock and roll? Does it want to twist and shout? Anyways, he's like, maybe it's a huge cockroach. I just can't, Mom. It's horrible. I'm like, okay, I'll come deal with it in a little bit. So, go out there. And I'm like trying to find like a container. I can't get it in, And I'm like, tell me how big it is, and stuff. He's just like imagining, like, I had a container that was probably this wide open around. I was like, will it fit in this? It's like, I don't know, maybe. So I'm like, okay, we're just going to go up there and I'm just going to see it. And so I get the container and I got like a fly swatter thing to kind of get it in there. Handle it, and I'm like, come up there with me. He's like, no, I'm like, you're freaking me out. You're coming up here with me. Like, if it comes at me, I need a witness. Like, I don't know what I'm going.
I'm not going down with the bug.
Right.
I got you. Okay.
So he's like, it was near the drain. And I asked him, I was like, can it fly? I don't know. So I get in there and like, oh. And I look, and then I see it, and it's like, it's this beautiful, it's about 1.5 inches long.
That's a pretty big bug.
Yeah, it was this beautiful iridescent beetle. I was so excited. So like I caught it and kind of scooped it up. Its little legs had kind of grabbed onto the fly swatter. So I'm like, get it in there, put the lid on it, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, Speed Racer, it's so beautiful. You need to see this. And he's like, no, and stuff. And I'm like, so then I start like, searching, beetles in Oklahoma, and I figure out it's like a ground beetle, and I'm reading about it, and like it doesn't hurt people. It doesn't like to be indoors. It just kind of got stuck down there, and the tub couldn't crawl out. And so I ended up saving it to like go release somewhere the next day. And so then I'm super excited about this beetle, and I want to tell Mr. Sunny about it. He's like, oh yeah, that's why Sweet Pea was showering in our bathroom last night because of the big bug. And I said, you mean you knew there was a big bug in the shower and you just left it?
Mr. Sunny,
I know. It's like I had to get her in the middle of the night and take care of this bug. Hi. But I showed it to him. And then so we're all kind of talking in the morning. And I was telling them about how I was going to take it and release it on my parents' property just to make Speed Racer feel better. And Sweet Pea was like, oh, thank you. And she was scared too. Of course, tough guy. He's like, let me see. I'm like, look it, isn't it cool?
I wish you have somebody who was celebrating with you.
Yeah. He would not like. I bet you everybody else in that house would have been like, they would have just left that beetle in the tub. Oh my God. But it was really cool. I really liked it. And also, I am kind of glad I saved it because I imagine if Mr. Sunny had come up there, he probably would have smashed it.
It was so pretty.
Yeah. So,
well, that was sweet of you.
Yeah.
I have a little story time too.
Okay.
Gamer Boy texted me. So Gamer Boy is I think I traumatized him cutting his hair. And so he won't cut his he's got long hair. He's got really long hair.
The picture
won't cut his hair. Like I'll harass him like you look homeless. Let's cut your hair. No. I'm like, whatever. You're grown. Do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
He texted me last night or this morning, and he's like, no, it was last night. He goes, Ma, I did something. I'm like, oh, okay. What'd you do? And he didn't answer me. I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Talk to me. He's like, I got a haircut. I'm like, that's awesome. Let me see. Thinking, he's all nice and proper now, whatever. No, he sends me a picture and it's like cascading over his shoulders. It's so beautiful. I'm so jealous. But he's like, well, I mean, I gotta trim it washed. Okay.
Well, he still looks nice.
Yeah, he's got beautiful, beautiful hair.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna stick to his guns and not cut it.
Funny. So my son, he has beautiful curls. And I just let it go. But his father and I had different opinions on whether his hair should be cut or not. And so when he would stay with his father would just get it cut short, and just didn't have a say because, we didn't really think alike. And honestly, if you go and get the hair cut, like, I can't glue it back on.
Can't go back on, but at least you paid for it.
Yeah. Like, so that I missed those curls for so long. And then, my son became a teenager. He's like, what do you think of me, like, growing out my hair? I was like, I love it. Do it. And so he's kept it longer and curly. But now he's so old, I just want to, like, touch the curls. And he's like, Mom. Like, but it's just so pretty.
Yeah. It's hard going from mommy to mom to bruh. That's so hard.
It is.
And I know that you're still in the midst of it all, but it is legit fact. All those times that those people told you, like, cherish it now, it'll be over before you know it. It was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm looking back like, oh, I miss it. And I miss those little arms around there.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Like, so for me, when I married Mr. Sunny, his kids were still pretty young, and my son was already a teenager and pretty self-sufficient. Whether he chooses to be or not is, different.
It did an age move.
Yeah,
an age move.
Right. But he can. Like, if he wants lunch, I have the option of saying, you've got two hands, make it yourself. Whereas, the younger one, if I say that,
chaos ensues.
Yeah, like, it's not going to go well. Like, because tough guy, man, he would love to do it all himself. Now, one time when he tried to do it himself, I came walking in the room and he was standing in front of the TV watching it. Refrigerator wide open, milk carton with the lid off. I think it was breakfast, so I think it was like a cereal bowl sitting there, but like everything was just like, and he was just staring at the TV, and I was like, tough guy. Come on. But it was just, it was an adjustment. Like, I remember one time when we had, like, moved in together, and so I was going to be taking everybody to school, speed racer. It's like, I tell him, set an alarm and be ready by this time. Like, you're old enough. Well, Sweet Pea and Tough Guy, they've got to be woken up. They've got to be reminded of things. Like, I had come out just ready to be like, okay, let's go out the door. And I was like, wait, did either of you brush your hair or brush your teeth or like, now they've gotten pretty good. They remember for the most part now, but that was one of those moments where I was like, oh, I forgot what it was like with young kids.
Yeah.
So it was an adjustment for sure.
I babysat a friend's toddler a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember sitting down and just watching him go and go and go. And I was just like, I don't have the energy for this anymore. Like, I've totally forgotten what it was like to run after a kid and and keep him out of trouble and alive.
Right. Right.
So that was, I mean, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard adjusting. I mean, because again, I mean, I'm an empty nester. It's hard adjusting to being mom, but without any power. And I say that in the sense that, I mean, not like they want to disappoint me. They don't want to disappoint me and stuff like that. But what am I going to do around it? Am I going to take away the phone that they're paying for because they're adults? Am I going to?
Right.
You know, I can't. So all I can do is be an advisor and then just help them pick up pieces when it's all done. So, I mean, that's been a hard adjustment because now I can't say, I told you to do it this way. I'm giving your phone. I've learned this lesson the hard way. I don't know. It's different.
Yeah. With that in mind, it's very much, that whole thing is very much on my mind as I'm trying to think with this 17-year-old how to guide him to be ready for that, because he will make his own decisions. He will fail. Everybody does. Like, I was, very goal driven and organized and, focused. And I still had my own troubles. So, yeah, I don't know, but I'm trying to just figure out how to prepare him for that and then to prepare myself for the spot you're in.
I don't know if there's any way, honestly, and maybe you guys can pipe in on this. I don't know if there's a way to prepare for that other than just living it. Just like being a mom. I mean, everybody can say, you got to do this, you got to do that. But until you're holding that child and going through it, you still don't.
So, yeah,
it's a journey.
It is a journey.
It's always a journey.
Yeah. And every one of them is different. And
so give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace and some love for the things that you do for those people in your life. Your kids, your partners, your friends, your family, your tribe. Sit down this Mother's Day and be happy.
Or later, since this will be airing.
That is true.
Maybe next year we'll be more with it and do this before.
It is. Yeah. I thought we're just getting started.
Exactly. We're giving ourselves some grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
So.
Yeah. So give us some grace when you're commenting.
Yes. Yes. And tell us your stories of momming it, because there's some really good ones out there.
And we're wanting to build this community where everybody has, a voice and it's going to be heard. That's at least our goal, as is to,
And I love people's stories. Maybe why I enjoy my job so much. But yes, so I want to hear your story.
Well,
anything else?
No. Welcome to the shitstorm.
All right. Well, I guess then here's to shouting into the void.
Here's to shouting into the void.
Woo!